Do you believe that President Donald Trump believes in the mission of NATO?
Absolutely, partly because this is a treaty obligation by all allies, part of the Washington Treaty, the founding treaty of the alliance. Second, because he has, in meetings with me, publicly when I met him in the White House last month, stated that he is committed to NATO, and his security team has also stated that very clearly. But more important is that the US is now increasing their military presence in Europe for the first time since the end of the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And the President Trump, just suggested a 40% increase in funding for US military presence in Europe. We will have a new armored brigade, we will have more training, more equipment, more infrastructure. So actions speak louder than words, and we see now actions, meaning increased US presence in Europe.
You mentioned words. Critics say the President didn't mention Article 5 during this NATO meeting, the idea that an attack on one is an attack on all. So is that overblown, people's fixation on his not mentioning that?
First of all, he has stated several times that he is committed to NATO, and there is no way you can be committed to NATO without being committed to Article 5, because NATO is about Article 5, collective defense, stand together, one for all for one. Second, it is in the US interest to have a strong NATO, because two world wars and the Cold War taught us that stability, peace in Europe is also important for the prosperity and the stability or the security of the United States. We have to remember that the only time NATO has invoked Article 5 was after an attack on the United States.
Has President Trump's pressure on NATO members to pick up their commitments, their financial commitments, has that been effective?
It has helped to convey a very clear message about the need for increased defense spending across Canada and Europe. And the good thing is that the European allies now understand that we have to invest more in defense, not only to please the United States, but because it is in the interest of Europe to invest more in security, because we live in a more dangerous world. And the good news is that defense spending now has started to increase across Europe. We have stopped the cuts, we have started to increase, and more allies will reach 2% target this year or next.